Okay, y'all. So now that we have zoomed in, I want to try something different, you all, because if you can just see right here, I'm having like a few little acne breakouts, and I really don't know where it's coming from. I have a feeling that it's from the oil from my hair being in my pillow. You know how to get on your pillow and the oils are getting in your skin. I think that's where this little breakout is coming from. So I definitely want to cover up these little marks right here. And I also have some texture stuff going on right here on my cheek, and I want to cover that up. So before we get to the eyes, let's just hurry up and do the face, okay? So what you hear in the background is the R&B Money um, podcast with Tank and Jay Valentine. It is a wonderful, wonderful podcast, and it was so needed. It's right on time. Thank you, brother Tank, for doing that. Oh my goodness. Hold up. No, y'all, hold up. My microphone is not on. Okay, now that's better. Let that microphone come on just a little bit. Ain't no need of paying for something if you're not gonna use it. Okay, hallelujah. So the first thing I'm gonna do is moisturize my skin with my Meaning for Beauty. Hey, where my stuff at? Oh, here we go. My NYX Bear With Me putty. You cannot do anything with your skin without moisturizing. Okay, y'all? If you're not moisturizing, then the makeup is just gonna look crazy. Don't even try it. So there is something that I did want to talk about today that I was sharing with a coworker of mine. Let me turn this down just a little bit. So, for those of you all who don't know, I am a RN/nurse practitioner. So you may hear me use the term RN. You may hear me use the word nurse practitioner. The truth is, I'm both, because you can't be one without the other. You can't even renew your NP license unless your RN license is renewed. But I've been an NP now since 2010. You do the math. um, Start off with this e.l.f. hydrating camo. What color this is? Child, I don't know. I don't have time either. You know what? Yeah, let me put this right here just for a moment. Just for a moment. Up under the eyes. Let's do that right there for a moment. And then let's just do a little bit right here. A little bit right here. I want to do some color correcting. Where's my color corrector, Lord? Here it is. Y'all, I wanted to talk to you all about your opinions on certain, on this particular topic. Because I was talking to another fellow nurse practitioner, co-worker of mine that is a male. And his background is actually psych. He's a psychiatric NP. And I am in women's and children's. That's my specialty. That's my background. Okay, so we were having a conversation, and I asked him his opinion because I wanted his opinion because we both have medical backgrounds, and then in particular with him being psych and us being around the same age group. And in particular, y'all, the age group that I'm talking about is really anybody that is under, if you are under 34 years old, then this probably is not what I'm thinking about for you. I'm really talking about people that are over the age of 34 years old, because this is the generation that I have seen this in so far. I don't know what's gonna happen with Z. We'll have to see for ourselves what happens with Z. But blending out my color corrector, because I'm having some texture issues with my skin, and I don't know really where it's coming from. Like I said, I think it is coming from my pillowcase. So that's why I changed them yesterday. Yeah. So let's see, what do I want to do? I think I want to put some right here. So the question that I asked him was his opinion on what he's been seeing with Generation X and Y and marriage and children. Because I'm just going to tell you my point of view on it from what I've seen. You know, I just don't know if we made to have children like everybody else made to have children. Because with marriage, and I know you like, girl, what? I'm not saying that it's not possible, because I am married. I am happily married, and he is also happily married too. I just put my ring on. I'm so late. But I wanted his opinion because I've just noticed that there seems to be an issue with Gen X and Y having babies within the first year of getting married and the divorce rate. Now, I don't have any statistics on this because I don't believe there is statistics on this specifically for our community. But just from what I have noticed, personally and professionally, it seems, y'all, that when X and Y start families too soon, the marriages don't last more than 5 years. Usually by the time the 5-year mark, they're already in divorce court and filing paperwork. Now, and I don't know what really that is about. I can't, but I wanted to know from him, from his professional opinion, as well as his personal opinion and things that he's been seeing. I wanted to know, are you seeing what I'm seeing? I have never in my life used concealer this light before, but I am copying another influencer by the name of Mufida. Mufida always uses these colors that are super bright up under her under eye. But I also didn't use my Rare Beauty blush brush to blend either, so that might be why I'm not seeing what I need to see with this blending. It's getting better. It's getting better. Okay. So, anywho, I wanted to know, are you seeing what I'm seeing with our generation and this people having babies within the first year of marriage, and then seeing that it's just kind of like leading to a lot of disgruntledness in the marriage and a lot of divorce rates. And you know what, y'all? Surprisingly, he agreed with what I said. He's been seeing it professionally, like I have in our patient population, and he also has been seeing it in his personal life too. And I thought, wow, okay, so it's not just in my head. It really is something that seems to be going on. And I don't know if this is just in the Black community, because I can't say that I've seen it in my white friends. But then again, most of my white friends don't have kids within the first year either. So most of them, they didn't start procreating until like 3-4 years into the marriage. So I don't know if it's something that's coming, and there and for with Caucasians, like I've been seeing it in the Black community. But y'all, I'm just telling y'all, it seemed like like the marriages are just not lasting whenever people seem to have babies within that first year. And I was just interested to know, like, what do you all think about that? Have you been noticing that, or is that just something that me and certain people around me have noticed? Because I have had this conversation. This is my Morphe setting powder. And I'm always using a damp beauty blender, y'all. We're gonna always use a damp beauty blender. But I wanted to ask this of people who have a background in medicine, a background in psych, those of us who have more of a science background. But I also wanted to check in with people who are just regular everyday people. And so he actually said, yep, that he has noticed it, and he notices that, yep, it is a problem. And so I told him, I said, I actually told one of my best friends. So just so you all know, I have like 5 males in my life that I am extremely close to. They're like family, they're brothers to me. And I have also six girls. And when I say family, usually I'm talking about them, okay? So I have one of my male best friends. When he first got married to his second wife, I actually told him, I said, give yourself some time before you get her pregnant. I said, you already went through a lot with the first wife. She was a freaking nightmare, and you dealt with that for a long time. And he is the type of man that every woman wants, because he is a hopeless romantic. When I say hopeless romantic, I mean hopeless romantic. He is the epitome of a gentleman, of everything you would want your daughter to marry and everything you would want your son to be. And he just was that type of person that never received any reciprocity from the women in his life. Even back when we were like high school age, he always was a giver. And eventually these helpers would take advantage of it. And I'm not saying all of them did, but eventually, they did. They took advantage. And when God finally blessed him with this woman, because I loved her. I love her to this day. I was praying to God that God would finally send her. I said, brother, before I know you head over heels in love, and I know the first thing you're going to want to do is knock her up. I said, but give yourself time enough to be a baby. Okay? It's not that I didn't think that they would work or anything like that. That didn't even cross my mind. The father stand from my mind. I just wanted him to have the opportunity to be the baby, because he had been with this other girl for like 10 years or so. And when I tell you no reciprocity, I do mean no reciprocity. He was giving, receiving nothing back in return. So I'm going to use the Denisa Yummy Blurring Skin number 8. How I want to put this on? Let me use this right here, because you can use this as a setting powder, and you can also use it as a foundation. I'm going to use it and a primer. I'm going to use it as a foundation and a little bit of a setting. Since the goal is to really focus on the eyes today, I said, I want you to be the baby. I said, I want you to take the time to, not rush this. I want you all to enjoy each other. And I want you to be the baby. I said, because once a baby comes, you will never be the baby ever again. And I said, and the thing that men always forget about is that when a child comes, especially if it's that woman's first child, you pretty much go on the back burner, because she's thinking about that baby. Her nerves she's worried about that baby. She's concerned about being a good mom. She's concerned about getting it right. And all of her energy and focus and attention is going on that baby and not on you. And I said, for the longest time, you've already had somebody not focusing on you, and it didn't have anything to do with children. It was just her selfish ass. So can you just like chill out, you know, and just enjoy your marriage before a baby comes? Now, that's pretty much my advice to just about everybody. But of course, he didn't listen. And here come a baby. Now, their situation is just a tad bit different because, you know, she's a different character. She's a good person. And I think them having a baby within the first year definitely was rough on them because they were far from family. They both moved away and started a family, which made it extra, you know, burdensome. But they were able to make it, I believe, because of who she is as a person, and also definitely because of who he is. Like I said, he's a hopeless romantic. He's gonna dote on wife. He's gonna dote on baby. He's just a different type of man. Now, y'all know most men aren't like this now. Okay, let's tell the truth. You know, most men aren't like that. So, my girl, she blessed out on getting him. But Lillian, get out. I can't even do what I'm trying to do. That's my cat, Lillian, scratching to get in and out. Dang, I messed up. I wanted to put this illuminating primer on top of my eyes to see if it would make a difference. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. See, I'm talking and I'm messing up. I'm talking and messing up. Ooh. And I already got setting powder and everything. Ooh, I'm messing this up. But I was trying to put some illuminating primer on my eyes. The kind that's kind of sparkly and dewy to see if it would help brighten up my eyes some. Child, whatever. Just messed that completely up. And anyway, so their circumstance is a little bit different. I just really wanted him to do it because I wanted him to be the baby, you know. Because I as his friend, I know what as his sister, you know, we real close. I know what he has gone through with these brawls in the past. Okay, so I think I want to play around with this little eyeshadow palette I got from Ulta called Essence. And it's the Mauve palette. It's some purples, you know. So I think I want to play around with that. Maybe add some extra Juvia's Place type purples or colors or something to it. Can you see? Yeah. Let's see how it works. So at the time that this male friend starts his family, my other set of female and male friends, like everybody's having kids all at the same time. All since in the last 5 to 6 years, everybody has started, you know, procreating. So, you know, I was like, okay, everybody procreating and leaving me. What kind of sense does that make? And I'm the godmother, but you know, child, it is what it is. I think I want to use that color and that color mixed together. So anyway, you see how I'm stamping it with these new makeup brushes that my husband bought me for Valentine's Day. They're beautiful. So that was just an example of that situation, but that situation is different. I mean, I knew they was gonna survive and make it because I just knew that they were made for each other. I just had felt in my spirit that was his God sent and everything would work out, even though it was extremely hard for them that first year. Very hard for them that first year. But I've had some other associates and friends that didn't make it in the 5 years who had kids in the first year. And people think that when you get married, that the number one thing that will cause a divorce would be infidelity. And I can assure you, it's not. That is not the thing that typically causes issues in marriages like you think. Matter of fact, when it comes to divorce, it's like number 5 or 6 on the list of reasons, of five, 5 or 6 on reasons for divorces. I took this class in my undergrad program called Marriage and Family, and I learned a lot in that class about marriage and family. And one of the things that I learned about was the factors that contributed to divorce and the causes of divorce. It was a very, very, very interesting class. Let me go to this gray right here because it's and put it in my crease. You see how I'm just kind of stamping it right there? I just want to stamp it. So, anyway, back to what I was talking about. Because I'm not going all the way over with this. I'm kind of just stopping right here and just blending out in real time. So yeah, y'all, that's just kind of what I've been noticing. And it just makes me wonder, are we really built for family like people were back in the day? It seems like they had less, we have more, and we still can't seem to get this thing right. Now, granted, I'm not saying, of course, that I don't believe in marriage and don't believe that it can work if you have babies early or whatever. I'm just telling you that I have noticed in the last 10 years that just about everybody I know who has had a child within the first year of being married, they have either, most of them are divorced or have gone through the process of where they was considering divorce if they didn't do some type of marital counseling. Because I think that people don't consider how hard it is trying to blend your life with somebody else's life. Then you're still trying to figure out how to be a husband, and then you're trying to figure out how to be a wife. So you're merging ideas, you're merging thoughts, you're merging spaces. Even if you were living together before you got married, it absolutely means nothing, because it's psychologically, when you were just shacking, psychologically, you still knew you could just leave, and he knew he could still leave, or however it was, you can just walk away. But when you have legally joined with somebody, you can't just walk away like that. And when you merge a family together, you legally, what the drill is, and I've just noticed that I think sometimes people take for granted that you might want to factor those things in, because everybody is so caught up in the being in love part. And everybody's kind of, and I understand sometimes too that if you start late, like most of my friends did, they started having babies in 35 and after, because most everybody got married 35 and after. And most of my people, we just not into bringing children here out of wedlock, because many of us come from single parent homes and we just didn't want to repeat that. And even the ones, and some came from divorce, and then some came from, both biological parents. But however it was, it just happens that most of us just was not into bringing kids here like that, because we saw the struggle. We didn't want to be statistics, and it just was what it was. Everybody just made decisions accordingly. But let's go back to this little color right here. I want to play around with that one, right? Can you see That one right there, it's a little shiny. I want to play with that one for a second. So being that everybody started having babies late because everybody got married late, I know some people was like on a time clock, like biological clock ticking, and my eggs getting old and her eggs getting old and high risk and all of that. But really and truly, they did it because they was in love. And they just didn't care. And everybody was like, you know, if I get pregnant, I get pregnant. If I don't, I don't. Whatever. I'm in love. I'm married. Blah, blah, blah. And I just don't think people considered how rough it was going to be to add being a parent to that. And people found out way too late that maybe we should have held off on these kids, because I'm telling you, the stress of kids, they're trying to balance it. And typically what happens is, let's do something with this color right here. Let's do something with this color right here, like this Juvia's Place palette, like this like color right here. Or wait. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go here with some glitter first. Glitter? Yeah, on the edges though. On the edge. I think I want to use that one right there. That's pretty. Not too much. Just a little bit, because I'm gonna put some another color on top of that. And do something a little bit different with some sparkles. But anyway, so what do y'all think about that? Have you all noticed this, what I'm noticing? And I kept telling everybody, like, y'all chill out, just enjoy each other. Everybody just enjoy being married, enjoy your time together. I mean, even if you are older, damn it, what's a year? What's a year and a half? Give yourself a year and a half, 2 years to just enjoy each other. Damn. Because I want everybody to have time to learn how to merge psychologically, merge physical spaces, learn each other's likes and dislikes and things that get on each other's nerves before we, go there. I'm going to flip on the other side and go into this copper color. I think I might need to use a smaller brush though. Let me get it over here in my crease with this little bitty pencil brush right here. Have you all had these type of experiences? Have you all noticed this? Has this happened to you? Did you notice, if you were a person who started off, having babies early in your marriage, do you feel like you should have waited? Are you happy that you did it? Do you think you should have given yourself some more time? Like, I'm interested to know y'all perspective on this. And if you don't know a whole lot of married people, I understand. You can't probably answer the question. But I am one of those people that I am surrounded by happily married people. I'm surrounded by people who've been divorced a few times, and it doesn't stop them from believing in love. They're still doing their thing. But so I mean, I am around happily married people. I am around people who have survived it. The 5-year curse, they call it. Well, most people typically, if they're going to get a divorce, they're going to get a divorce in the first 5 years. I know people who survived it. I know people who barely survived it. I know people who didn't make it. And I'm going to tell you, the majority of the people who did not make it, all of them had kids very early in the marriage. I'm not saying that's the only reason now, y'all, why they didn't make it. Of course, that's not what I'm sure other factors, gonna lead to that. But I have to be honest when I say that that was a huge factor in why things didn't work out with them. Because when the children came, between the stress, the finances, and all of that, it was just a lot. And a lot of people also, like I said, they moved away and they had children and they didn't have a lot of family support. So it was just them. So imagine, being in a marriage and feeling like you are a single parent, and I have to tell you that quite a few of my people had that experience. Whereas, and I'm not just talking about the females. Nope. I know several males I know that they do more than the wife does. I can think about 3 males off the top of my head that are just as active in the children's lives as you think a mother would be, and probably more active than the actual mom. So when I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about this just from a female perspective. I'm using some primer, some essence by that same company that I'm using the eyeshadow by, the other company other than Juvia's Place. This is essence, and it's called Get Bit Lashes Volume Boost. It's a primer. I use this first because I don't do falsies. But the people who are in counseling, people who didn't make it, or the people who tried counseling and it still didn't work, a lot of them will tell you it was the stress of being parents that brought a lot of this on. And it just makes me wonder for real if we need to just chill out on that if we want the marriages to last. Because everybody be sitting up there romanticizing having kids, but the thing that men don't realize is that the women, you're not gonna be able to touch her, because if she breastfeeding, the first thing she gonna tell you is, those are for the baby. And you gone through a pregnancy, you gone to 6 to 8 weeks of can't touch it, whether it was a vaginal delivery or a C-section. And the only thing you thinking about is, ooh, I finally get my wife back. We can get back to doing da 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 da. And her hormones are all over the place. Her body's trying to get balanced back out. She don't want you to touch her in certain places because that's for the baby. She don't want you to touch her certain places because she's like, oh, I don't like my body. I don't like the stretch marks. I don't like this. I don't like that. My boobs, that, another. And she's feeling insecure about her body. So the man is like, woman, you're fine. I love you. You look good. But in her head, she like, So now you still not getting none because the pregnancy, the postpartum, the hormones, the baby in the bed, then it's just like a cycle. And then there's like this divide that just happens because the man is like, well, I want some love and I want some affection too. And then the woman is like, yeah, but I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm breastfeeding, I'm going to work. Like, she's doing all this stuff, and it's like and I'm gonna tell you like a very jacked up statistic, but it is what it is. Also learned this in Marriage and Family. It says a woman is 3 times more likely to be cheated on during her pregnancy and afterwards than any other time in her marriage. When I learned that in Marriage and Family, I'm using this LA Colors bronzer that's actually too light for my skin, so I just use it as a highlighter for my nose. And I thought that was first of all, it's terrible, but if you listen to what I'm talking about here, it kind of makes sense that it says that that is the time that a woman is more likely to be cheated on, and any other time than any other time of her marriage is while she's pregnant or during the postpartum period. Because the man is totally not getting any attention. And keep in mind, if you're newly married into it, then that means he's really not getting any attention because he just married and he ain't really getting anything out the deal anymore because everything is about the baby and the pregnancy and blah, blah, blah. Now, is that fair? We ain't talking about anything about any of this being fair. But the thing is, you have to know who you marry. A lot of people don't find out until much later after the marriage that the person that they married is not who they think they are. And children will show you who people really are. And a lot of the men I know, not just the ones close to me, but I'm just talking about patient population and in general, a lot of the men and a lot of the women have discovered that the people that they married are not necessarily who they thought they would be when parenthood popped up. People became very selfish. People started thinking about themselves and their needs and their wants, and all of the stuff that they romanticized and said they were going to do. Oh, I'm going to help with this and I'm going to do that. It's going to be like this and I'm going to cool the bottles and I'm going to be up with the baby. Then we going to take turns and da-da-da. None of that shit happened. I know some dudes that completely checked out when their children were born and some women that completely checked out. Like, sometimes, that can be due to postpartum. That's true, but regardless, I'm just telling you, sometimes children will show you who your spouses really are because they can be great and your relationship can be great pre-child, but post-child or post-children, that's when you're going to find out who that person really is, when the real work come in. So what I'm about to do now is go to my Juvia's Place palette. And what I usually do is swipe right down right here. And I use that as a blush because these two colors together. And this is my Juvia's Place Nubian Coral 3 palette. It's Nubian 3 Coral. I think that's how it's pronounced, palette. And I use that as a blush because I just like how it looks on my cheeks. And y'all, because I have high cheekbones and a heart-shaped face, when you have a heart-shaped face, it's good to go up like this. Now, if you don't have a heart-shaped face, I wouldn't recommend that you do this. If you have more like a round face, don't do this. Because it's gonna make your face look rounder than what it already is. Unless you wanna look more round faced, that's perfectly fine. But I wouldn't recommend you go all the way up like this because it's gonna look weird. Only if you really have high cheekbones and heart-shaped face should you do this. Let's do a little bit right there. Just a little bit. Okay. So what I wanted to do was get my Milani rose powder blush. And I want to add a little bit to it on top. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I know this is probably a very controversial topic. I'm using my Sephora Micro Smooth palette that has contours, highlighters inside. This brush right here to go back down my nose right here. This highlighter right here. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to use this highlighter right here in the palette to go on top. Ooh, I need to do my eyebrows. So what do you all think about that? What do you think about what I've been seeing and what I've been experiencing and what a lot of people around me say that they've also been experiencing? Because my co-worker who's a psych nurse practitioner as well, like he 100% agreed with my assessment of it. And he said, I do agree that people should wait. He said because in his friend group and his patient population group, he has noticed, I'm with my Juvia's Place, I'm going to use a little bronzer, y'all. Just a little bronzer right here. I put it in, I dip it in both. But he said, yeah, he did. Now, if you're not a spiritual person, omit that. That's not for you. But if you living according to him, he not interested in your timeline. Now, I don't do perfect brows. I don't like perfect eyebrows. I don't like nothing on my face to look too perfect because it's all makeup. It's all fake anyway. So I just draw up over it, up under it. I draw over it. When I push them up, do me a little triangle, fill it in right there. And then I just go up. And that's about all I'm going to do. Go up under. Trace up under. Because if you notice, mine get real thin right here. So I have to make some on the ends right here. And I just fill it in. This is my e.l.f. warm brown eyeliner pencil. And then you can just kind of brush it and blend it in. And the thing about eyebrows are they're never going to be perfect on each side. If you a type A person, then don't follow me. Do you? I'm not a person that likes perfection. Though. Everything on my face doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I like imperfections. It looks more natural to me. And now I think I'm going to use my burgundy brown lip liner. This lip liner came from my regular, store. Like the Asian store in my community. It's a burgundy brown, and that's exactly what it says, burgundy brown. Line my lip. What do y'all think about that? Have y'all noticed this? Like, I'm really interested to know you all's experience on this and what you've seen and what you've noticed. Because it's quite interesting for me to notice that there's a trend that when people have kids early in their marriage, that it seems like it just ends in divorce or in some type of marriage conflict. And I don't necessarily see that happening with people who waited or people who choose not to have children. So this is a lipstick by Black Radiance. It's 501. Oh, it's 5012, 501 2A. And it's kind of like a purplish. I don't know if you can see that or not. Trying to get it to focus. It's kind of like a purplish color, but it's metallic. So I'm gonna just fill my lips in with that, being that I'm kind of doing this purple metallic look. I don't know how I ended up doing that look. I don't know how that came about, but it's the look that I ended up with. I'm gonna put a little NYX Butter Gloss Madeline on top and see what it turns into. I like that a little bit better. That looks good. So, yes. No. That ain't gonna work. I gotta use my Mario Badescu rose water. That's what we spraying face with. Okay. Let's tap that in to hold it because we want to hold our color. Let's tap that in. Lord, I done dropped my microphone. I just got up and moved. Anyway, so that was just my little thought, my little idea on the things that I've noticed and seen for those of us who are yoked up, those of us who have children versus those of us who don't, versus those of us who waited versus those of us who did not. It's just what I noticed. And I don't know, y'all. That bothers me. It makes me wonder, if people are really cut out to be parents like they think they are. I think people romanticize the idea of getting married and starting a family. It's like all this Disney Channel stuff in their head, and they don't realize that it's all beautiful. All of it is beautiful. Every part of it is beautiful, but it all takes energy. It takes work, and then the world that we living in, with all this inflation, with gas prices, doing what it did over the summer, coming off of COVID, it's I don't know if we have the mental fortitude to handle half of the shit that our ancestors did. Our ancestors was marching, they was getting lynched, they was getting dogs attacking them, water hose. The stuff that our ancestors went through, it seemed like they were so tough and they handled things so much better than we do. I don't know, y'all. And I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this as a everyday person. I'm telling you this as a scientist, because although I am a nurse practitioner in women's and children's, I use my degree predominantly for research. I'm literally a scientist. I was on the COVID research team at the research institution that I work at. Like, I'm really a scientist, and I pay attention to things and I pay attention to detail, and people confide a lot in me, their personal information and their secrets. And the things that people tell me, because they know I'm not going to violate HIPAA, and they know I know how to keep my mouth closed. The things that people share with me, you'll be surprised the things that people have said to me. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot with that confidence that people have in me, people sharing those things. And I just don't know if we are really built like our ancestors was built, y'all. I don't know if we got too spoiled, if we've arrived and now, I don't know, because they had like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 kids. I know people after child number one, shit started falling apart. Some people couldn't even get to two because of one. And when two came, it was already in shambles. And I'm talking about just for the people who started really early. The people who waited seem to do a little bit better. But it just makes me wonder, are we just really equipped like our ancestors were equipped? I don't like this lipstick. This ain't working. No, ma'am. Hold on. Are we equipped, y'all? Can we handle the stresses and the pressures like our ancestors did? Did we arrive and got and made something out of ourselves, and now we comfortable, and now we don't know how to act? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. Because I'm not talking, when I say that, I'm not just talking about in reference to having kids soon in a marriage. I'm just talking about in general. Because I just noticed we're a lot different than the ancestors that fought for our civil rights. A lot different. Child, this is just some forever matte color that I found in the beauty supply store. Nothing special. But I don't really like the matte look on my lips. I like gloss. So I'm going to let it soften and get a little matte. And then I'm going to put some of this Sephora Marshmallow Gloss on top. And see if I can get the color that I like a little bit better. Oh, that'll work. That'll do. So tell me, y'all, what do you think about the conversation that I was having with my coworker? Especially if you are a person who has a background in medicine. Like, have you noticed that in your patient population too? Not just around you? And regardless of your background, I'm just interested to know, what do you think about my observation, his observation, and just pondering on what's going on that we can't seem to just hold our family structure like our ancestors did. And I do understand that things are different. Women back then couldn't leave, a lot of people married and needed the security of a husband, XYZ. But it's got to be more than that. Because y'all, they was popping out babies like left and right. And it's like, nobody seemed to care. And then, our generation get one child, 2 kids. And it's like, what's going on with us? I don't know. So put in the comment section, your thoughts and opinion on it. This just my thoughts and opinion on it. You are in Blade's world, but it's your world too. Let me know what you think. And I'll leave some pictures of my makeup and some really good lighting for you. Thanks for tuning in. Check back in with me later. I am Blade. Bye.
Signed up for in my mind, where I thought I'd be for a while. Made your play, you swore on your life. Everything every day, I cut you off slowly. The point is I'm growing, I'm facing my demons this time. Ain't thinking about doing you wrong, like you're doing me wrong all the time. Doing that shit every night. I cannot fuck with you, baby, you right. You are not for me, goodbye. You ain't